Hi, and welcome back to Making Video Your Business, the podcast that aims to encourage you as business owners to think about your visual marketing for your business and how it can improve what you do day to day. Today, I'm joined by my good friend and long-term client, Jim Parker. Thanks so much for coming to see us.
You're welcome.
Talk to me a little bit about you. You've worked in property for a number of years.
Yep.
Talk about how you've evolved in that industry.
Jeez, I evolved in the industry. I've been in property for about 30 years. But primarily I was in manufacturing as an accountant and financial director. And then I got involved in property investment. And then I was fortunate enough to retire at 38-year-old from my job to never work again. Financially free. Woohoo! and then I was like, what do I do next?
And now you're 42.
No, I'm 21.
Yeah. And now you're working even harder than ever before.
Obsession.
Yeah.
Obsession, really. You know, after I left that industry, then it was a natural progression for me because I'd been in housing all the time anyway, as a private renter. And I was involved with the National Landlord Association. I was the chairman for Scotland.
Yes.
And I was on the housing partnership for my local authority, representing private landlords. So I was heavily involved and politically involved in housing and rented housing.
Yeah.
So it was a natural progression for me then. Just by chance, it almost like the sun, the moon, and the stars, and the planets all aligned at the same time. And I bumped into a colleague who was wanting to change and have his own estate agency brand, and I just went, I fancy a bit of that.
Yeah, the business that you own now, Fife Properties, multi-award-winning, 5 properties. You've won the ESTA for best agency in Scotland.
Best estate in Scotland 3 years running.
Yeah,
we're going into this one for the next ESTAs. We're going in for an approval rating. We're going to win an approval rating of 99.67%.
Right.
Which is
phenomenal.
Good.
Yeah, phenomenal. Yeah.
Very good.
So this business, is this the business you started after leaving finance?
No, it was Century 21 franchise.
Right.
So I had the franchises for Fife for Century 21 when they first started.
Yeah.
You know, that was my business partner's idea at the time.
Yeah, to have a franchise model.
Yeah, I'm gonna go into this, and you know, I just, for one of the better phrase, I just blindly followed him and thought this is a great idea.
Yeah.
And
because that's quite common for people to step out of an industry where they've been successful, and for want of a better word, they get bored.
You have to know your numbers. There's so many fantastic estate agents out there that are really good at what they do. They fail to realise, though, they have to run a business as well. So most of the time, they actually go and start their own business to actually, for want of a better phrase, they just want to swing a hammer. But they don't realise by starting their own business, they're not going to be swinging a hammer.
No.
They're going to have to do the books. They're going to have to do the marketing. They're going to have to do the HR if they're going to bring on anybody.
Yeah.
They're going to have to do their own finance. You know, they're going to have to get involved in everything of running a business.
Yeah.
And then it loses touch with the fact that they just wanted to swing a hammer.
Why did you come and see us in the first place? What was the point of coming down? You know, what was that initial thought from you?
I actually lead it back to the point of readiness. And the point of readiness is when opportunity and preparation meet. And I do remember there was one time I was at a fabulous property and I thought, how could I tell people about this? And I just had a burst of enthusiasm and thought, I'm just going to go live on social media and just go, this is a fantastic property. Look at this one. Nothing really happened out of it though. But then when you've probably been there all the time, but when you appeared right in front of me, it was the point of readiness for me. And I thought, this is perfect. This is just, why did I not think about this before? This is a perfect opportunity to do this. That's the fact.
Don't you think that is business in general? That all of your marketing and all of your strategy for business, all you're waiting for is someone to get to that point of readiness when they need you. Because that leads into, I think, a lot of the stuff that you've done subsequently, right?
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, I would say so. And then the thing that frightened me the most was when Chris Watkins said, if you don't do it, someone else is going to do it before you. And I just turned to everybody else and went, I will be doing this. For definite. I would. The most horrific thing. I was pushed by my circumstances at that point, not pulled by my dreams. Because I thought if someone else does this, I don't want to be second.
No.
I'm extremely competitive. So when I go into something, I research the whole thing, start to finish. Then I know exactly how to implement how to be consistent and how to discipline myself to keep that going in that process, because I have the complete and utter faith that I will get to the result I want just by doing that. I've always had almost an obsessional passion for knowing about what other people do and their journey they've taken. Hence the reason why I've done everything, things that are nothing to do with a state agency at all.
Yeah.
I love going in to see a business and talk to a business owner about their journey, about how they've got, and it's not just what you see on camera, it's what I learn from them off camera.
Yeah.
It's possibly just as important, but it's something I've learned from them and their journey, which will help me on my journey, but also it helps them on their journey. So it's like a rising tide lifts all ships.
Yes.
I became obsessed by, this whole podcast is going to be called The Obsession of Jim Parker. You can see that coming in.
Yeah.
It's just something I love learning about all the time. I fall in love with the journey.
Talk to me about your journey then. You came here. We said to you, if you don't make this, someone else in Fife probably will. What did you do when you got home? And what did you start to add in terms of visuals? I know tours, housing tours, but what else?
Then it was talking about the area that we're in.
Guides, yeah.
Area guides, and then we talked about local businesses. We promoted local business. I've even promoted local events. Let's go along an event. Let's take a tour around an event and tell everybody. Put it on their local community pages and tell them all about what's happening in that event today.
You did loads of stuff on the beach, I remember.
Yeah.
There was a big litter pick on the beach, wasn't there? And you went and covered that, and you put a load of stuff on about that.
Litter picks, anything and everything that involved the local community.
Yeah.
And it's because I used to remember there was a lot of criticism about the local community about, I never knew about this. I would have gone, or I would have done something.
Yeah.
So I thought, well, this is the perfect medium. I'll go out and do a video. I'll put it on all the community pages, and everybody that wants to get involved will come along and get involved in that day.
Phenomenal exposure for those events. You've taken quite a broad approach to that strategy, right? So you've taken lots of different bits of video content, and you also do a podcast. You do a property show now. On a Friday, you do a...
Jeez, I think I'm never off.
Yeah, never off.
A Monday is the wealth creation show at 12:30, an update on Sunday night, Saturday morning is the property show, and then a midweek show as well.
Yeah.
And then I've been live broadcasting every single day, whatever it is, just going live myself since the beginning of lockdown.
What do you think you've spent total, maybe?
Just to get started, you could do it for £1,000 easily. Your phone, you can get the top range of phone.
We'd have that anyway. But so I'm not talking about phones.
You could get that for £50 a month, but you could upgrade it to the best ever.
Yeah.
I use a premium recording phone.
Yes.
But microphones,
they're cheap, 30 quid. Tripod, 20, 30 quid.
Yeah.
You can get a phone bracket just to clip on, £5.
I still think most people don't believe that I actually walk about and I just plug the lavalier mic into
your phone, yeah.
And then I just go.
Yeah. And that's just in your pocket.
And I keep that in my pocket every single time.
Yeah.
Because you never know what's going to happen in your community. I walked along one day, saw 2 seals abandoned on the beach, baby seals. And I immediately went online and says, 2 baby seals here, who do we call out to? And it was a huge amount of traction.
Yeah.
50,000 views.
Yeah.
Within an hour.
Yeah.
Everybody commented on it. Then we got in touch with the Divers Association, who came along and actually rescued the seals. It's that sort of thing. You never know what's going to happen in the moment.
No.
So I walk into a community event. I'm walking in my local park, Silverburn, and there's a community event going on, and I never knew about this. So tell you what, let's pop on and let's tell people about this.
So in 3 years, what do you think it's done in terms of percentage growth for your business? Just doing visual media, because that's all you've really changed.
And quantification in terms of sales value, I would say 400%.
400%, yeah. So
it's obscene, isn't it?
It's obscene, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It's
like I could not believe that.
Yeah.
But that's
what it is. Yeah. This is a surefire bet. This is like backing a winning horse at the National, knowing going into the race that horse is definitely going to win.
Yeah.
And I still can't get over why property professionals, particularly property professionals, aren't doing it.
They've no belief or faith in themselves. That's the biggest issue. They don't have the belief and faith in themselves. When I go into something, I know the answer before I start the journey because I know exactly what I've got to do to get there. And my frustration most of the time is life gets in the way. because I know the blueprint and I know the fast track. It's like I've built a super highway.
Yeah.
And now and again I get diverted onto a B road.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
just get out my way.
Yeah.
Just let me, because I know where I'm going. That for me is a frustration, but it's genuinely, it's probably because I've got complete and utter faith in myself.
And your team.
And I was just about to say that and Elaine as well, and my family as well, and everybody all round about me.
Your teams they join you on your property show on a Saturday. They're actively making their own bits of video content. They're actively making their own tours. They're actively going out there and doing their own bits of live content and everything else. And you've almost instilled that into them, that value will be good for them too. So what would your advice be, right? Because I always ask, when people have been successful with video and with visual media, what would your advice be to agents? Probably not in Fife.
It was, by the way, there was an agent that had an opportunity to do this 2 years before me.
Was there?
Yeah.
And they didn't.
And they were on an event and everything like that, and you guys pitched to them, and they didn't do it.
No.
I'm like, going, thank God.
Yeah, because otherwise
they never did it.
But what would your top tips be?
Do it. Just do it. It's Nike, isn't it?
Yeah, just
do it.
Yeah,
For goodness sake, get the right training. That's clearly yourselves that do that. Get the right training first.
Thanks. Shameless.
Yeah, but if I'm gonna tell people what they should be doing, I should point them in the right direction. And if it's the blueprint that worked for me, then all they need to do is follow the same blueprint and it'll work for them. It's a foregone conclusion. It doesn't matter what market you're in. I could take this and duplicate this in Australia, in America, in France, anywhere in the world. I could duplicate exactly what I do right now and it'll still be successful.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. So just do it. Just get on and actually pull your finger out and make it happen.
Yeah. Don't be afraid of what others. The reality is, we as people are afraid of what others will think about us. But the reality is, what someone else thinks about you is none of your business. It's exactly down to them. It's their thinking. It's the way they are, and you can't influence that at all. It's your reality and your thinking which will put you where you are. And you'll see everybody that's been successful have complete and utter faith in themselves. And they persist and they hang around longer than everyone else. That's all they do. The other people, well, they just give up. That's why they're never successful, because they gave up. If you get to the end of the 100 metres finish line and you finish at 99 metres, you're not winning. And literally you've got 1 metre you've got one step and you would win. And yet people will give up. Don't stop. Don't stop for anything. Even though you think it's not working, in the days of despair, make sure you've got a vision and a dream. And I really mean it. Make sure you've got a purpose. Make sure you enjoy the journey. That is one other thing as well.
Oh, yeah. Well, if you're enjoying it, you're not working.
If you enjoy the journey, this is not work. Imagine getting up every single morning and punching here and think to yourself, in your mind though, because sometimes I get up in the morning and I'm a bit cranky.
Yeah.
But in your mind, you're still punching the air and you're going, I've got a pulse. Woo! That's as good as it gets. You're still alive, punch the air, and I get to do the job every single day that I love to do.
Great.
And I don't know where it's going to take me, which is even more exciting.
So what would your third tip be then?
Keep practicing and keep being a student.
Yeah, keep learning.
You've never arrived. Keep learning. And it literally, I sat on the train and I was looking at this guy. Must have thought I was weird, but I was looking at him between the chairs and the wee bit, and he was reading, and I was seeing graphs. It's like graphs and pie charts and everything. I thought, oh, I wonder what he's doing. And I really desperately thought, I wonder how he would feel if I just went round and says, "What are you studying?"
Yeah,
because I genuinely was intrigued.
Yeah,
and I thought, I want to see what he's learning.
Yeah,
and literally, that's what I've become. I've become just almost like a sponge,
like a forever student.
Yeah, you just keep absorbing the right information. I also like experimenting. With certain things. The pre-portal launch before it went to the websites actually came about because I stood in the line at the BA airport.
Yeah,
and they went, "Will all the Club Europe customers please formulate a line first and go on the plane first?" Wait a minute, what about me?
Yeah.
And then I thought to myself, that'd be a great idea to put that, because these people pay a premium.
course they do.
These are few people, but
That's
they'll
right.
pay a premium to get access first to the right information
Mm.
and get on the plane first. So
Yeah.
how can we not do that with property? So this is why the pre-portal came about, was the premium. If you're in a position to proceed and you can make the seller an offer they can't refuse,
Yeah.
you can get this before it goes to any website.
100%.
All you need to do is message us direct now or contact us on 01334 65 42 21. Until next time, guys, I'm Jim Parker for Fife Properties TV.
Yeah.
And literally that pre-portal was designed to do that, to get somebody to pay the premium. And it worked.
Yeah, well, you were selling property way before it went to
I've
Rightmove.
selling property before before anybody walked in the door.
Yeah, correct, yeah.
But then the pre-portal also served very, very well, which was adapted for lockdown.
Yeah.
It was to actually, I formulated the plan from lockdown. If we never walked out of our door, somebody could still list with me and sell with me. And then I would find the next house with the buyer as well. But they would only walk in the door the day they got the keys. And how could I make that process so easy for them? And how would the solicitor be able to work with that as well? So we actually collaborated with all these people and built that system. So if we never walked out our doors ever again, I could still remain in business and
100%.
thrive.
Jim, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate you coming all the way from Scotland to see us.
You're welcome.
And I wish you, as always, continued success.
Thank you.
Thanks, mate.